I worked at Wegmans today. From 2:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. And during my shift, I primarily restocked the banana section a few times. At one point, reloading the banana runner with 3 stacks of 4 banana boxes. And then for the rest of my shift, I used most of the bananas in those banana boxes on restocking the banana section, in between restocking hard items such as our various bagged and bulk onions and potatoes. I took my 15-minute break at 7:30 p.m. and had a 16-ounce Upstate Farms whole milk. I had that with a sort of snack pack. Generic Wegmans brand of apple slices, grapes, and cubed cheese bites. It was pretty good. Yeah, I opted for that. As a sort of lunch, because at the time, I had eaten all of the sushi mom had at her place. for yesterday's my dinner video. And the small caprese salad. I'm not sure if I pronounced it correctly. Probably mispronounced it. It's, believe it's similar to a Greek salad. I saw my dad at the Wegmans I work at around 7:15 p.m. or shortly before I took my 1 50-minute break for today. Because I worked until 8 today, 8 p.m., the time the produce department closes, me and two of my coworkers in the produce department work together to close the produce department. Though I recall we worked separately on closing the produce department. I helped by putting tarps, over our various potato products in the produce department, presumably as part of efforts to prevent the potatoes from greening due to too much oxygen exposure. Yeah, I often offered a passing customer assistance asking if they needed help with anything after usually saying hi, and then how are you? Though usually if customer has something they would like assistance with, they'll get my attention, not the other way around. I only recall one case in which a customer had something they wanted assistance with upon me offering. And if I recall, that was to help look for a particular item within the produce department for an Instacart worker. At another point, a customer was looking for sour cream, and so I led them to the dairy department, which is pretty much right next to the produce department, or just a minute's walk away or two from the produce department. I recall being a little tired at the beginning of my shift. Roughly from 2:30 p.m. to 4 p.m. Then after that point, I felt more tired and started nodding off. While walking around making efforts to restock the banana section and the hard item section of the produce department. There were a couple points where I would end up not really being aware of what I was doing for a few seconds. Despite that, I did my best to restock merchandise within the produce section. And getting what was needed from the produce holding area of the warehouse part of the supermarket, I had a second wind of sorts from 6:30, starting at around 6:30 p.m., and no longer felt tired. Throughout the rest of my shift, I only nodded off a little bit during the car drive from Wegmans to my mom's place. Dan and I drove over there to pick up my laptop case, the Tyler Foams hoodie, a black t-shirt I got from my closet yesterday, and the small stirroni salad I mentioned earlier. I essentially pulled an all-nighter today. Having woken up and gotten up around 10:30 p.m. yesterday, and I was up throughout all that time as I spent the morning hours first having some club crackers during the early morning hours, and then I had around 8 fun size default Hershey's chocolate bars. Those fun size chocolate bars being from the bowl of leftover Halloween candy from what was given to trick-or-treaters that came by our house last Halloween. Then, despite initially planning on getting some more sleep before my shift at Wegmans today, I didn't seriously consider doing that until around somewhere between 8 and 9 in the morning, and by that point, it was late enough that part of me felt there wouldn't be enough sleep pressure for me to successfully fall asleep, and another part felt that there was too much of a risk that I would oversleep and potentially either be late for my shift or have to be woken up by my mom and frantically get ready for work. I spent roughly from 10 in the morning to about until I had a sort of chicken masala meal, if I recall correctly. Essentially, chicken with broccoli and some mushrooms, with a glass of whole milk. Yeah, it all tasted pretty good. I had that around 12:45 p.m. I spent roughly from 10 in the morning to 12:45 p.m. and then roughly from 1:15 p.m. to 1:45 p.m. working on the triangle ball polystyrene drawing project and making the outlines of some small red triangles using an ultra-fine red Sharpie marker. Yeah, I enjoyed working on the triangle ball polystyrene drawing project. Yeah, at that time, I recall having 2 cups of plain coffee, roughly from 9 in the morning to 1 p.m. Sipping at that coffee, it was pretty good.